Hi, welcome to Classic Guitar Rock. My name's Jeremy, and I wanted to talk about power chords. Now, in rock music, you will commonly hear the use of power chords. And let's talk about what power chords are really quick. I'm going to clean up my guitar sound here just a bit. Go with a clean sound. A chord, without getting into too much theory, is made up of, for example, a major chord is made up of the first tone, the third tone, and the fifth tone of the major scale. So you put all those notes together. So in the case of an A, I've got the first tone A, third tone, which is a C sharp, and the fifth tone, which is an E. So those are the only notes in a major chord. So if I play that whole chord across, if we were to break it down, every single note in that bar chord is going to be either an A, a C sharp, or an E. So what's a power chord? A power chord uses only the first, in the case of an A, that would be the A, and the fifth, which is the E. So it's not a true chord. It's not major or minor, and that's why power chords are sometimes called fifth chords, because they just contain the first and the fifth. And in future lessons we'll talk about that theory, but for now just think of a power chord as being the first and the fifth, a fifth chord. And because it's neither major or minor, it gives us some flexibility. It allows us to do some things that we wouldn't necessarily be able to do with the major or minor, as far as dissonance, things like that. Some of those major minor chords might not work out. So we go with just the fifth, and then we add some distortion, and that's really the meat and potatoes of a lot of classic rock songs. It's those power chords. Now, I showed you the first and the fifth, those two notes. Oftentimes folks will add the octave, so another A right above that. So the actual shape, I'm using 3 strings. In the case of A, it's the 6th string 5th fret, and then I catch that 5th, which is on the 5th string 7th fret, the E note, and then I'm just playing another A an octave higher. So that's my shape. See how I'm doing that? Just and the nice thing about those power chords is I can just slide those all over. And hundreds of songs use those power chords. So they're easy to play, you can move them all over, very handy, and that's why you will hear those power chords all over in rock music. Now I wanted to spend just a little bit talking about where we can play those on the neck. Now the ones I've just showed you, those are based on the 6th string. So we used an example A. If I do it here, it's in G. Here it's F. So the same shape, I can slide them all over, just like bar chords. When I slide all the way down to the E position, you notice I'm playing the open E string. And so what you'll see a lot of guys do, instead of, fretting it in this wussy way where your fingers are all hanging out there, they'll just use their index finger to hold down those notes. Okay? And that frees up these other fingers to do things. So that's why us guitar players, we're lazy. So if we can do something in E that makes it easier, we'll do that. Or in A, same thing. So I can move up to the 5th string, base it on the 5th string, it's the same shape. So in A, again, it's one finger. A is especially popular for guitar players because that allows them to play that A power chord, and then they're freed up their other fingers to do all kinds of dwiddly stuff. Okay, so those open power chords are cool. We can do the same thing in D. We can come up to D. Now with D it's a little different. I can't play. See, that would make it a minor chord, which is for a whole nother class. But for the D string or fourth string based chords, I'm going to add this finger up here. Okay, so I've still got my D, my fifth, which is going to be an A, and then the octave D again. So it's going to look a little different when I'm basing it on the fourth string. Okay, so let's look at the open power chords so far. I've got the E, based on the low E string, A, and then up to D. Okay, so those are all open power chords. So on the D string, those based on the fourth string, now let's say I want to move that up. What's that shape going to look like? Well, remember up here on the sixth and fifth string, they were this shape. Well, if they're on the fourth string, they're going to be just slightly different. Our pinky's going to have to come down one fret. Okay? So in this example, let's do a G. This is a G power chord based on the fourth string. Shaped a little different. Now here's my G power chord on the sixth string. Okay, same notes, just an octave higher. Okay, so quick review. Sixth string power chords, E, fifth string power chord, A, fourth string power chord, D. Okay, so those are the open positions. Now let's move them up, and I'm just randomly, I'm going to pick the third fret, just so we see the shape. On the sixth string, that shape's going to look like this. Okay, fifth string, same shape, just moving down a string. Alright, and then on the fourth string, slightly different shape because I have to move the pinky up one fret. Alright, now there's also a power chord based on the third string. Okay, and its shape is going to look like this. Okay, so top is going to be like this. Now instead of this shape, we've got to move the pinky down. It's an easy shape. I'm only using two fingers on this one. So in this example, I'm using the third string, third fret, the second string, sixth fret, and the first string, sixth fret. Okay, so that's that shape. That's kind of a high shimmery version, but you'll hear that power chord used as well. Now think about this. If I can do all of those different power chord shapes, I can, within just the first 3 or 4 frets, play pretty much any chord that I need to play. And I'll give you an example. Here's an E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, come to my open A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F sharp, okay, or F, sorry, F sharp. Okay, I could come up here and play the G like that, or that's an open version of that because I'm picking the root note is an open G, G, G sharp, F, okay. See the point there is we've got all of these power chords that we can move or play just in the first few frets on our guitar. Experiment with those. They work especially well with distortion. Remember the muting that we talked about? Apply some muting. And you'll hear as you listen to songs that this is just a common tool that is used in classic rock and hard rock.